Good morning. How are we doing? It's good to be here. Karen Mills, thank you for the great work that you and SBA does. You are the best kept secret. And as I come here this morning, I want to play big ball, not small ball. I want to make a difference. I want to get something going. And I'm going to talk about that this morning. And to get something going in America, it's a combination of public sector and private sector. Rather than fight and clash, we have to corroborate. We have to cooperate with each other. We've done that to build this great country in the defense systems and energy and so many other technology and so many other ways. And our most important resource in this country today are small business entrepreneurs, and we are the most misunderstood people in this country. My part-time job was professional football. My main-time job was being an entrepreneur. I grew up as a little boy in this city. My first job, I lived at 602 Maryland Avenue, not far from here. And my job was, I had a paper out with the Washington Star. I was 7 years old. At 7, 8, 9, and 10 years old, I delivered the paper. 5 days a week in the afternoon, Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings, and I was scared to death. I had to then go and collect for the paper during the week. Is that a business? Is that an entrepreneurship? Yes, it is. I did that. I had an insurance license when I was at the University of Georgia. Oh, yeah, I played college football. I played college baseball. But I had no money. I had a wonderful family. But I was on the other side of the tracks. I wasn't a member of the country club. We didn't have any extra money for me to spend on fraternity life or to, my goodness, have a car. I got an insurance license. I was a top producer for Franklin Life Insurance Company while I'm playing football. I'm an entrepreneur. When I played professional football, someone at Entrepreneur Magazine the other day interviewed me and said, well, you made so much money playing football. Why would you do work? And you worked during the season. You started businesses during your career. I said, absolutely. I was drafted by the Minnesota Vikings in 1961. I was drafted in the third round. I'm a quarterback. Quarterbacks that they think can play are not drafted in the third round. RG3 was drafted in the first round, and Andrew Luck 1 and 2 because they thought they had the ability to play. Little Russell Wilson out in Seattle, he was drafted in the third round. You know why he's drafted in the third round? He was 5'10". They thought he was too small, too short, not strong enough, not good enough. That's the story with me in the third round. Tom Brady was drafted in the sixth round. Joe Montana in the third round. Johnny Unitas was a free agent. I had my opening salary in 1961. To think about reading the papers as you read today about the players making $20, $25, $30 million, my salary is $12,500. $12,500 a year, and I had an off-season job. I worked for the Wilson Truck Systems in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and my job was to go knock on the doors of shipping clerks to get them to ship their goods from the Dakotas through Minnesota, Chicago, and back, and they paid me $600 a month. Boom. I moved back to Atlanta in the off-season. I started working. I needed to get a little more polish. I started working for the Coca-Cola Company. But I didn't make speeches. I went out and worked in the marketing department and for McCann Erickson Marketing and Young and Rubicam and all these great marketing companies. Then I started at age 25 building businesses, and I failed in my first 3. Because I had a smart lawyer over here said, we got to raise a lot of money and borrow a lot of money because we got to have capital to build a business. Biggest mistake I ever made. We went through all that money. Banks came to me and said, oh, by the way, we need you to repay the loan. I said, oh, really? I thought that was a gift. I repaid the loan, repaid the other people put money in, and I turned the losses into wins because you learn from losing. You learn from putting your hands in the soil. You learn from getting out there. I never learned in football from winning. After we won a game, we celebrated. Then we got over there, we were high-fiving and talked about the plays and talked about how great we were and what the great block and the great run and the great catch and the great throw. When we lost, I didn't go out. I stayed home. I watched tape. I watched the game. I looked at every play. I analyzed every play, and what did I do wrong? Where was my preparation wrong? And I got smarter. I got better. And that's what happens in a small business. Building a small business is a process. When I started 15 years ago, not only building small businesses, I said, I'm going to go out and dedicate myself to helping small businesses. I really didn't know because most of my business was with big people. I didn't realize what was going on. That small business community out there, 30 million of them, they are scattered. And they're not getting access to the best knowledge that General Motors would or IBM would or Microsoft would. Not only are they not getting access to that type of information and great coaching that I had great coaching. They didn't get access to that. But they had access to the get-rich-quick schemers, the biz-op people, the people that were selling a seminar for a day or a week. Come join me. Come do my deal. Because if you'll just listen to me and follow my guidance, you'll be a millionaire overnight. $10 million in 10 days. It's the silver bullet solution that goes out there and preys upon these people. And it's awful. And I said, I've got to help go change that. And so I've reached out to so many different people because we need each other to go reach these people. And we're reaching these people. And we've worked with hundreds of thousands of these people. And we're giving them access to tools and knowledge and information 24/7. Bill Belichick doesn't coach one day a week. He doesn't coach one day a month. We've got to coach every day, every hour, because it's a process, is it not? And whenever I thought I had the answer, I didn't. Whenever I thought I've got it made, I didn't. And our landscape of businesses, big and small, are littered across the country. Montgomery Ward doesn't even exist now. Sears Roebuck is in problems. J.C. Penney's in problems. Eastman Kodak, with all its technology, they have problems because they thought they had the answer. I know one thing. I don't have all the answers. But I know this. Change is not easy to come by. If we're going to play big ball here together in the private and the public sector to help small business entrepreneurs, we've got to create a sense of desperation. That's right. If you don't create a sense of desperation in your life, change doesn't happen because change is hard. Every morning that I wake up, I have a little edge on my shoulder. I create a little sense of desperation. How in the world can I help one more person? I go to bed at night saying the same thing because the mission of business is the same as the mission of me in football. My mission in football is to make my teammates better. My mission in business is very simple, and it should be for everybody, to help other people, to have products and services that bring value, that are relevant. So we tell people the truth. That's a sustainable mission. If we tell people the truth, have products that are relevant, the customer experience is off the charts great. Our products get better and better and better. Then these people will buy from us. They will come back. They'll tell people about us. That's a sustainable mission. Oh, you say, no, it's the mission of business is to make money because most people say, I want to be rich. But I don't want to work hard for it. So if I want to be rich and that's your goal, you'll compromise your principles. Do we read about that every day? Every day. I played football in high school in Little Athens, Georgia. And I was recruited by most all the colleges in the South. But the one school that wasn't recruiting me was my team right there in Athens, the University of Georgia Bulldogs, who I loved and adored. But they had two great quarterbacks they drafted the year before. And they were really skilled. They were bigger, stronger than I, could throw better than I, but I didn't think they could play as good as I could. And they really didn't recruit me hard, but they had to sign me. Freshmen couldn't play football back then. In the varsity, we had to play in freshman games. So I didn't get my chance until my sophomore year, but in the spring practice for my sophomore year, my coach, Wally Budd, said, Fran, you're great, but we got these other two guys, Charlie Britt and Tommy Lewis, and they're going to play. We're going to redshirt you and give you your extra year of college. I said, no, sir, Coach Butts. I said, I'm going to graduate in 4 years. So if you want to use my services, and you should, because I can help you win, you better play me now. Oh, that's a great attitude. Come to the fall. Now we're in August, right? And we're going to training camp, and I'm out there, and I've worked all summer. I've run the stadium steps, and I've thrown footballs by the thousands. I got to get better. I got to get smarter. I go, and I'm ready to go to training camp. And I blow these guys away, but he didn't see it. He's blinded because these are sophomores and juniors, and they were going to, juniors and seniors, and they were more experienced and bigger, stronger, better than me, he thought. So a week before the season, he says, we're going to redshirt you. I practiced with the varsity. I knew all the plays. We went to Austin, Texas to play the University of Texas under the lights. Can you imagine an 18-year-old kid under the lights, 70,000 people, the excitement, the thrills, and so forth. And I go out there, and I warm up, and I'm throwing the ball 80 yards down the field. It feels. I'm jumping this high off the ground. I've got about a 9-flat speed going for me. I am juiced without any juice. And I go out, and I figure out, oh, my goodness, I'm not going to play. I stood on the sideline next to him. Everybody else sits on the bench. And I'm pulling at his coattail. I said, Coach Butts, Charlie Britt's getting tired out there. I said, you need to get me in there. And I'm just all game long. So now we get into the third quarter. We're behind 7-0. That's the good news. The bad news, we don't even have a first down in 2.5 quarters. They're punting to our team, and they're punting, and my guy is fair catching on the 5-yard line, and I look over at the other quarterback, Charlie Britt, he's sitting on the bench. Never sit on the bench. He's sitting on the bench. People are going back and forth. I run onto the field. I run onto the field. I get in the huddle, and the guy said, what are you doing here? Later on, Charlie Britt said, he said, I thought Coach Butts put you in because you were standing next to him all the time, and I saw you run. I said, Charlie, most of my errors are errors of assumption. Assume nothing, question everything. I get on the field, and we make a first down and 2 first downs and 3 first downs. We get to midfield, and I want to look over there so bad to Wally Butts, but I want to be good enough alone, right? So I get on down the field. We get down to the 5-yard line. It's 3rd and 5. I say, boys, we got to make it here. If we don't make it here, man, it's going to, I'm going to ride the train from Austin, Texas back to, so I roll out. I was a mobile quarterback, as you might remember. I had good feet, and I could run a little bit. So I went to the right, and I ran to the left, and I'm trying to buy time to get somebody open. And I finally went out to the left, and I see this wide receiver, 88, Aaron Boxon, just before I was going out of bounds. There's a little opening there, and I threw the ball in there. I went on the ground, and I could kind of see the little lines on the ball. I could read the Wilson on the ball. And all of a sudden, Aaron Box catches it, and we are now 7-6. The kicker comes on the field, tie the game, and this was first year of a 2-point conversion. I waved him off. I'm 18 years old. I had a sense of desperation. I didn't know what it was, but I had a sense of desperation. He wasn't going to keep me on the bench, and I was going to win, right? I created that in my heart and soul. I waved him off, and I looked at the boys. I said, boys, if you don't really step up here, I really am going to be, not only am I going to be on the train, he's going to kick me off the team. So I call another rollout, and I roll out to the right. And all of a sudden, the world opens up. Defensive back falls down, and the good news is I've got a receiver wide open in the end zone for the 2-point conversion. He's a big old 6'4", 220-pound guy that ended up playing linebacker for the Washington Redskins. The reason he played linebacker instead of offensive receiver is because he had hands of stone. If you threw him 10 balls, he had dropped 9. He's my guy. He's the only thing I got. I thought right between the 8 and the 9. Boom. And it went boom. I see it float out. I see him take that big old 6'4" frame body down on his knees, on his belly, and just before the ball hit the ground, he catches it. And we go ahead 8-7. I think about my life. If I don't create that sense of desperation and force myself onto the field and force that and then have, you know, all the background of work and preparation that made me succeed, if I don't do that, I may, and I'm serious, I may never have played college football again because these two guys had great talent. I may never had a pro career, and I may not be standing up here talking to you people. I'm just going to encourage all of you. Let's do something big. Let's cooperate. Let's work together, public and private sector, to go out and serve small business entrepreneurs. 540,000 startups every month. Let's go out and find them. Let's go out and help them. And let's don't talk to them about silver bullets. And that's what we're doing. By the way, as I finish up here, outside, if you'd like to join us, we've got a booth out there with my partner, Office Depot, who's joined me in this crusade and this mission to help small businesses. And one thing we do, every one Saturday a month, we stream out, because technology is great, to everybody that wants to look at us. We have a 30-minute program, and I bring on a great small business entrepreneur to talk about how they did it. And we're going to talk about SCORE today and the great work that SCORE does. And we're going to do it right out here in the booth, and we're going to film it. We got the studio set up. And so if y'all like to come and watch us do that and participate in it, it would be great. But thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting small business. And let's go and play big ball and make it happen. And because here's my final word. Without small business growth, there is no job growth. Let's make it happen. Thank you.